joining us now. Up first is Representative Greg Landsman. He's a Democrat from Ohio who sits on the Energy and Commerce Committees. All right, what is your take on this? Because ahead of November, there's a lot of issues voters are worried about. Mostly what we talk about, those kitchen table issues, affordability, pricing, be able to, succeed and have their kids be successful. But this seems to feed into some of those concerns. And what are you hearing from your constituents? I read there are more than 200 data centers in Ohio right now. That's according to Pew.
Yeah, I mean, data centers, it's been a huge issue for a while now. So the idea that it's a sleeper issue is just a sleeper issue for them. I don't think they were paying attention, though they, were hearing it, hopefully, from their constituents. This is a huge problem, in part because people are so frustrated with the economy the way it is, where you have, the super wealthy, they get whatever they want, they can do whatever they want. And you're seeing that play out with the data centers and these big tech companies that are getting tax cuts to build these data centers. So politicians are giving them cash, even though they're the richest people and the richest companies in the world. They come in to our towns, they sign NDAs with elected officials, non-disclosure agreements, so that the elected officials can't talk about it. And then, they create some jobs. The challenge is that they also jack up everyone's utility bills. So it's a huge issue because it hits people's pocketbooks, right? Like they're paying more, and Ohioans are paying more in electric bills. And it gets at this unevenness, brokenness of the economy, where the super wealthy get whatever they want and we all pay more.
Congressman, when you go to the first district, as I have, you look at Cincinnati. Yes, there's the beauty of the Ohio River. There are also a lot of warehouses there. This is a real locus for distribution warehouses and has been for a long time, both Cincinnati and Covington, Kentucky. Is there an appetite for building these things in and around the first district? What do you hear from your constituents about it?
Yeah, they're trying to build one in a part of the new first congressional district. It got gerrymandered even further. So Wilmington is in the new Ohio one. And so I've spent a lot of time up there with them. They are trying to stop a big data center coming in, or at least slow it down so that they can get their priorities included in whatever deal gets done. But again, this was done behind closed doors. Everyone signed an NDA. They refused to talk to their constituents. They got a tax cut from the federal government, Amazon. They got a tax cut from the state government. So they got a lot of money. And what people are hearing is this is going to increase their utility bills based on what's happened around other places. And so what I hear is if they pay their own way, and they do everything above board publicly, and we get a say, that's one thing. But this, the way they're doing it, is wrong.
You've also introduced legislation. You've got a bill that's gotten out of committee that would put the cost burden for energy consumption on the data centers, not the tax base. And it would do something you were just referencing. It would ban NDAs with elected officials. I don't think a lot of people realize that that's a thing. But as I pull it up here, I'm seeing several different local news articles from Pennsylvania to Louisiana where local officials report or have been reported on having signed non-disclosure agreements with these companies. It seems to me if they're doing that, they know they're unpopular. How common is this, and do you think this bill will get any traction?
I've never seen an NDA. I've been an elected official for almost...
I didn't know that was a thing. Yeah, I've covered Congress a long time. I didn't realize this was happening.
I've never heard of it in any context. And maybe there's NDAs that sign with like city officials or state officials because there's some, trade-related issue. I don't know, but I've never seen it. And in Ohio, we pride ourselves in doing everything, in the light of day. We have really serious sunshine laws that require everything to be public. And these guys have been going around, these tech companies, signing NDAs all over the country and in Ohio. And it has people absolutely furious, as they should be. These are the people they elect. They pay their salaries. They're signing an NDA with a company and not saying anything to the community. And if you live near one of these data centers, it feels like a betrayal. That they betrayed you in order to get something done with this, super wealthy company that's coming in, and it's unbelievable. So I think the NDAs are a huge problem. The utility costs are also a big issue, which is, why am I paying more, and why are you doing this behind closed doors?
Carson, I want to pivot to another issue if I could, but one that's very much in the zeitgeist, and that has to do with prediction markets. And a few weeks back, we talked to Senator Alyssa Slotkin of Michigan and the efforts that she's made to kind of ban betting on political events. Yes, in her office, but in other parts of the government as well. I know that that's something you've been kind of pushing also. Is that something that's getting traction here? I look at this as kind of this nascent form of, I don't want to say investment. I think it is more so betting than that, but it is certainly something.
Depends on who you ask,
a swirling
how many drinks they've had,
yes, a swirling conversation about regulation. Where are we in that conversation in Washington, D.C. about how to treat sites that allow you to do this?
I mean, at the moment, the majority has not put forward a bill. Senator Slotkin has a bill. I've got a bill. There's a ton of bills. This is part of, our anti-corruption bill called Drain the Swamp, which is I would argue, the most comprehensive anti-corruption bill introduced so far. And it includes the ban on prediction markets. But this is a big issue where, people are looking at politicians right now and seeing them make tons of money and wondering why they're struggling, and they want their government cleaned up. The prediction markets, it's just awful because you can bet on anything. And, if you're a public employee, whether you're elected or you're just on salary, but you're in the know, you should not touch these predictive markets for any reason, under any circumstance. And so mine is a full ban on participation by anyone who gets a public salary.
Anecdotally, have you seen other lawmakers, other officials, even people in your, you have a window into places that sometimes we don't get to see, these previous information. Have you seen these people either talking about or flirting with the idea of placing bets on some of these things?
I've not heard anyone talk about placing a bet, but they talk about it all the time. Everyone's bringing up these predictive markets, and they'll say, well, Kaushi has this issue at this, or that, race at the, at this level, whatever it is. It is something that everyone is talking about. I've never been on any of these platforms, so I don't know exactly like all of the things that are being, put in the mix to have people trade on, but it seems like it's almost everything. And it's just, the room for corruption is huge. And the appearance of wrongdoing is obviously very, very serious too. Both of those things have to be dealt with. And the only way to deal with it is just to ban anyone with a public salary from participating in any of the markets.
Before we let you go, I'm going to return to what I said a moment ago, that your district is home to so many companies that do a lot of transacting across the country, big distribution center. And the news of the weekend, of course, is the dissolution of these talks between the U.S. and Canada. Canada now being tariffed, its exports being tariffed at 50%, seeing the retaliatory tariffs come into play here in the weeks ahead. What does that mean for folks in your district? So some geographic remove from the Canada border, but I imagine very reliant on that longstanding trade relationship with Canada.
Yeah, so far it's been terrible. When I'm home, which is, most of the time, we spend, a chunk of the time in D.C. and a chunk of the time back home. Most of us travel around our districts and we do tours and meet with businesses and tour their facilities, their plants, whatever it is. And everywhere I've gone for the last 2 years, I say, can you tell me about the tariffs? Is it hurting? Is it helping? I try not to be, show my hand in terms of like my own frustration with these tariffs. And not a single company, I've yet to meet a single company that says anything other than they have cost us a lot of money. And this is just going to cost them more. And they're paying so much for this administration to fight these trade wars. And no one understands the strategy. No one.
All right.